Well, hi folks, this is my greenhouse at near home now, and I can't be more happy with the tomatoes. Just give you a quick look at my Shirleys. Big trusses of fruit on now, all the way up. Cherry tomatoes, got a few going ripe in there. But the best thing is this Marrow, this big beefsteak one. It's got huge great tomatoes on, and I've actually got some going ripe now. If I can get my lens in. Already. I thought they'd take yonks to go right, but and they're all over. They just grow everywhere. Big beefsteak tomatoes, so I'm really chuffed with those. The weather's still been fantastic. This is me Joe's Long Chilli, it's called, and there's some big chilies coming. Since last sort of 10 days, they've only just set. And they're growing really long already, about 4 or 5 inches long, some of them, so I need to put it somewhere. It's growing a bit tall, so I need to put it down a bit. What else have we got? A few of the bell peppers, sort of capsicums. I don't pinch mine out, I just let them grow. Sometimes they get a bit smaller, but there's a few of those starting now, swelling up. And these are the Prairie fire chilies. If you look, the way the chilies grow, instead of hanging down, they sort of grow outwards and upwards. And they're an amazing spectacle when they start going ripe, because they go like different colours. They go yellow, then sort of purpley colour, then red. I'm growing these for a class at Harrogate. There's a chilli plant class, so they're looking alright. They look a bit early actually, but because it's about 6-7 weeks till Harrogate. But basically everything's growing well in the greenhouse. A few more cherries going right there, another Shirley. The thing I've found with Shirley tomatoes is they produce such a massive heavy crop like that they actually pull themselves off the stem, pull the truss off the main stalk. So what I've got to do is tie the truss up, support it, otherwise they just literally rip the cells off the main stem. That's just Shirley that I've found that happens with. So, but anyway, that's about it in the greenhouse. Couldn't be happier. I've just spotted another even bigger tomato down there. Can't believe these, absolutely huge. So that's it folks, that's the greenhouse with the tomatoes. Couldn't be happier. Well hi folks, here we are again at the main plot. Things have just been absolutely flying on with this red hot weather. So finally we've got some peas which have taken an age to come. But I'm getting a good old crop of peas. I've picked about 3 lots now, so there's plenty of peas about. So finally we've got some peas. Leeks are growing away really well now since I transplanted them, so could do with doing a bit of weeding, but never mind. All my broccoli's now finished, all the side shoots and everything, so I need to think of something to plant in that sort of spare bit now. But I've got some decent looking cabbages. These are greyhound. And I didn't really think they'd do very well. I thought they might bolt, but they're all hearting up now and they're ready, so they're quite a decent size, so I'm quite pleased with that. Not that it's exactly cabbage eating weather. And the lettuce is the first lot. As you can see, they've gone over a bit now, but I'm not doing so bad. I'm down to my final iceberg. Little gems have gone over a bit, but I've got a second lot in there growing away well, so shouldn't be too long before they're ready. Planted a few turnips in there. Now this is where all my shallots from seed were. Now I've harvested those this week. I'll show you those, they're drying out under a cloche. So I've chucked some, what have I planted in there instead? I've put some kale in there, no not kale, some chard, never grown chard before. And some more turnips, just to fill the gap because I can't be doing it looking at bare soil in the middle of summer. Beetroot are getting enormous now, I should have taken a bit early, but it won't be too bad. They're a decent looking size. So beetroot fine. Carrots, not actually harvested any carrots yet, but they should be ready. I'm just getting in amongst them. They started pushing their way out. Oh. So they should be ready there early nont. Garlic's still growing, so I'm just going to keep it growing as long as possible to make the bulb as big as possible, because there are some big varieties in there. There's Solent White and there's my own sort of strain. So they're doing well. These are some of the weaker plants in pots, which are just in pots, not grown in the soil. So as you can see, they're looking a bit sickly. It's basically just because they've run out of nutrients in the pot, in the compost, whereas the ones over there, which are in pots but also buried in the soil, so they're getting the added benefits of the soil nutrients. Are doing well, absolutely enormous still. They're all main crops now. But what I'll do with these, because these are kestrel, I'll take these as new potatoes. I might tip one of these out in the next couple of days when I run out of spuds, because I've still got a load of Charlottes left, which I harvested the other day. But anyway, I've never seen potatoes like it. Absolutely massive this year. Right, we'll have a look in the Polytunnel, where it's absolutely scorching. Now this is where my butternut squashes are growing, and cucumbers, and I'm starting to train my cucumbers up strings, and these beans are even climbing up them. It's just an absolute mess in here. It's just, there's all sorts growing. But there will be a few. I'll just have a look at the bottom. There'll be an odd cucumber, I would imagine. French beans have been cropping really well, and now, as you see, because I grow them overhead as well, they're just so easy to pick. They just hang down above your head, so like that. No need to rummage about in all the leaves, you can just find them. So they're the cobra. Been getting carrier bags full of them. A really good French bean. Now my courgette plant got a bit sickly, and it's suffering from verticillium wilt apparently. It's when all the leaves start going bright yellow from the base. Now it's not necessarily terminal, so what they suggest is don't overwater it, so I've not watered it, and it's still producing courgettes, so it's not dead, even though it's not as vigorous as it should be. I'm sure I had some little cucumbers under here somewhere. Appearing, there you go. They're only small little ridge ones, but they're nice and sweet, and they do produce loads. There's tons of flowers coming, so I should have a constant crop of those soon. Now onto my onions that I thought were an absolute disaster because they went to seed. Well, they've just still kept growing, and I'll show you the size if I can get my lens in. 19 inches in circumference now, so they're getting on for £4. Whether or not they'll be any good for showing is another matter, because they've got the seed head in the middle, but I'll try and remove that and dry them out, and we'll see how we get on. But they've just all kept bulbing up, and they're huge, so not as big a disaster as I thought. Now there's some of just the giant ones I'm growing purely for size, which haven't gone to seed, and they're just flying along now. They're massive, so I'm hoping to get a 10 pounder, but I don't think it will. I might get to about 7 or 8 pound, I think. Anyway, this is the best one at the moment in the pot. There's a can of beer for reference. Now that's got to be getting on for about, I would say, 5 or 6 pound now, and that's still growing. It's not gone to seed. It's got loads of leaves on, still growing leaves. So I'll just keep that growing as long as it goes and see how big it gets. That's the idea. Now these are Monsieur Carrots, which are absolutely huge. So probably going to be a little bit too big for the shows, but there's nothing I can do. They've just flown along in this weather. But one thing that doesn't matter if they're too big are the long carrots, because you want those as big as possible. They're more impressive. So they're still flying along. I'm watering them really well in this hot weather, because the worst thing you can do is to leave them dry and then give them a good flooding, because that tends to make them crack. But anyway, as you can see, we've got a really good top. I'm not going to root around and expose the top, because that might attract the carrot fly. But so far, so good. After what I thought was an absolute disaster, the onions are still growing. I think I'll be pulling all these up in about a week's time, because I don't want to risk it too much. That'll give me about a month's time to dry them out for the shows. And it's extremely warm in here, so I'll just go out and have a look at the other stuff. Loads of bees everywhere now. I do actually let some of this rose bay willow herb flower, even though it's a weed, because it does attract the bumblebees. And all I do is, once it starts going to seed, I'll just chop it all down and throw it away, but it does attract the bees. It's absolutely full of bumblebees. This is my random wildflower bit. Not very impressive actually. These were really expensive seeds and they look rubbish, and I'll show you my other bit in a while, which were the pound shop seeds, which are absolutely unbelievable in comparison. So these are my show potatoes in bags. Can't see the bags now, they're absolutely flying along. I'll have to have a root about in there in the next couple of days and see how big they are, because if they're big enough I will be chopping them down and then sorting them out for the shows. And I'll just go into my carrot and parsnip thing. Oh, where my parsnips are now absolutely humongous. They're growing out of the top of the container. Butterfly in there. Same thing with the carrots, they're really doing well now. Even though they're outside, semi outside. You do get a few little yellowing leaves. They're just the older leaves dying back, I've been told, so it's not a major thing. But if you look at the top, there should be, if there's anything beneath like there is above, I should have the biggest parsnips I've ever grown. So we'll be pulling those the day before the first show, so they've got a good 6 weeks to grow. Just nip out again. Oh, I've got a bad back, so it's not ideal. What I really could do with doing some weeding. I've just been a bit lazy lately and a bit busy at work, so right. I'll show you pumpkin. I'll show you the marrows last thing. Kale's growing well still. Blah blah blah. Right. These are some sets, onions from sets, bulbing up really well now. But some of the others are not bulbing up particularly well. The red ones coming along slowly. More onions. More garlic. Now this is, I've just harvested lift this up, my shallots the other day from seed, because some of them were just starting to grow leaves in the wrong place. If I can get down, I'll just show you the sort of size. That's the sort of size, they're absolutely huge, so they're plenty big enough, and the necks will shrivel up and they'll store fantastic like last year hopefully. So I've got all of those out now. I'm just giving them a bit of a drying off in the sun under this cloche, so when it does rain it keeps the rain off. Planted out my purple sprouting broccoli now for next spring. That's under some cover to keep the butterflies off too, so hopefully we should have some broccoli next spring. Right, we'll move on to the marrows. I'll just show you these flowers first. Now you won't believe it, they're just about £2 worth of seeds. I'll just jump over. Pound shop seeds. Shake and rake or something they call them. Shake and bake. But they're absolutely wonderful. Real good show. Cornflowers in there, poppies, Californian poppies. All these pink ones, I don't know what they are. But it's a real mix. Absolute haven for bees. So just goes to show you don't have to spend a fortune. Pound shop, £1 worth of seeds in that. Shake and rake. Right, we'll just nip over and I'll show you my marrows. Now if you remember, well it's 12 days ago I said next time I show you this marrow I bet it's £20. Well, I don't know. It might be in 2 days. I'll just get down to it. I put this sheeting up actually to keep all the rain and the thunder off, thunderstorms, all the hailstones, because if it does hail it'll just batter the leaves, so that'll give it some protection. So anyway, onto them. And here we go. Don't know whether you can get a good look. Oh, I need to put something in for scale. It's covered in leaves. I put my backy tin in. There's my backy tin. That's one of them. I would say that'll be getting on £15 now. It's a strange shaped one. It's got a really big end to it. And then that's on the main vine, and then I've got this on the side shoot of the same plant. And that'll be, I would say that's definitely £10 now. So that's one plant. Oh, it's quite hard getting about under this thing now. I don't want to trip up and snap it. And then I think this is the biggest. I've put a seat on top of it to keep the sun off, so hopefully so it rains a bit, so it doesn't ripen it off. So there you go, you can see it poking out from under there. And it really has grown. That's definitely £20 now, definitely. Absolutely. And that's in about probably 14 days from its setting, so it's growing at a fair rate. So anyway, things are looking good on the marrow front. Just try and get round to my last one. So what I do is I let one set on the main vine and one on a side shoot, and this is the one on the side shoot. That's about the smallest of the lot actually, but I've got 4 to go at. So that's my marrows. I want to try and beat my record of £53, and judging by the way it's growing and if this weather keeps up, I might have a good chance of it this year. So anyway, that's about it folks. Bit of a plot update on the giant marrows. That's it. See you later.